Welcome in, folks. It is me in a new studio, as always. I am Jagger May. You can catch me on Twitter at Fantasy Blue Chip. And then with me is our favorite basshole, Chuck Bass, host of This Guy Sucks podcast.
There it is.
Andrew LeDuc. You can catch him on Twitter at Real Mr. Mallard. He's bringing sophistication to this podcast. And he also talks golf. We're doing a mock, guys. It's the final one. We got the people who want to wait to the very, very, very last second to make sure all the ACLs are still intact before kickoff. We're doing this for you. We're doing this for you. Also us, because it's super easy and I'm kind of behind on the show sheet this week. But we're gonna jump right into it so we can get to the mock, into some news and nonsense. Justin will be with us whenever, per usual. JT trade is not granted. This is pretty hot. They gave him the weird deadline. They gave him the week. Nothing happened. Apparently, the Colts asked for Jalen Waddle. They're the guy in the league that was like,
playing Dynasty.
Yeah. Worst he could say is no. Like, you're not winning now. So like that was pretty weird. There's an obvious Dynasty buy window. And like I said, I don't like running backs, but now JT looking pretty sexy at cost. Redraft and specifically contenders. We don't know if he's going to play this year. So Chuck, we'll go to you first. Where are you at? Do you think he's going to play this year or not? Are you buying him for this year?
I've gone like full Westworld host. Doesn't look like anything to me. I went from thinking he was going to be a smash value to I don't even see his name on the board anymore. And it's a shame. And it has nothing to do with him. Has everything to do with the vibes of the situation. I cannot get the bad taste out of my mouth. There's too much talent on the board. So redraft wise, you're not going to see me taking any more of him. I've already been low on him, but not anymore. Dynasty, I'm really excited. He doesn't have a lot of miles on his legs, despite, the seasons he's put up. So I think you could be looking for, he's probably been a big target for people who have been trying to go all in. Maybe those guys are panicking. Maybe you can flip him for something decent and or scalp something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Andrew, where are you at?
So it's very similar to Chuck here. I love him in Dynasty. The main reason why I love him in Dynasty is because if he does choose to sit out the entire year and not come back from the PUP list, he's gonna the way that his contract will work out to where he gets basically one more year of his rookie deal, which is gonna make him super attractive to a lot more teams, which means it's better odds that he lands such a good situation for him to produce for the next few years and beyond. So dynasty wise, I'm buying him up. I'm chasing the panickers. Redraft, I don't really want to take him unless it's and he's not going to see, that's the thing. He's not going to drop past like the 4th or 5th round, I feel like, but I don't really want him before that because I don't want him as a starter at this point. He's someone that if I can somehow get him as my first running back on my bench, then I'm thrilled. I'm willing to wait to see what happens, at least for the first half of the season. But I can't have him in my starting lineup leaving a draft.
Yeah, I guess and I guess that's for you guys. I'm like fine with that, because
Fine, whatever.
Yeah, if he would follow me, especially like in Superflex, I'll pick up JT and I'll do my usual. Go for Monty, Sharp, and Tank Bigsby, and then just like risk it for the biscuit and hope I get JT week 8. I've got 2 contending rosters where like my starting running backs are like Rashad White, David Montgomery, Swift, like super mid-ass backs, like Khalil Herbert. So like I'm trying to pop out some trades like, hey man, Rashad White's looking really good for you, J2 owner. Will you take Rashad White in like a 3rd? One league, I sent Rashad White straight up. I'm on some Jim Irsay shit. I'm like,
let's go. Dude, catch people when they're catch them when they're low and desperate. Let them bottom out. That's their fault, not yours.
You really never know how people are going to react.
Exactly.
Like the panic is real now. We've reached the full blown panic on JT.
Exactly, and I'm like, I feel like Bilbo, where it's like, why not? Why shouldn't I trade it? And like going to like full blown goblin mode on these people with like the egregious trade offers. And I'm like, man, someone's gonna post me on Twitter, and I can't fucking wait. Well, I guess we're all like kind of in tandem there. The next bit of news is again Trey Lance, but it's done. I think we're done. Now we just gotta wait for Dak to throw his first interception, and then people are gonna be calling for Trey Lance because he's been traded to the Cowboys. I've bought so much Trey Lance this offseason, and I feel like an asshole, guys. Don't feel good at all. So,
Tell that to my Scott Fishbowl team is looking like a real piece of shit right now with that one pick.
Because it was like I was totally that guy at the Scott Fishbowl where like Trey Lance kept falling, and you're hoping someone else drafts him. You're hoping because you're like, if he falls to me, I gotta click the button, and I clicked it, and then who's got two thumbs and looks dumb as hell? This guy.
These guys all day.
I know, RIP. With that being said, I don't understand the move. I think it could be where the Cowboys are kind of like where the 49ers are, where they think they can compete and win it all. And Dak hasn't stayed healthy in a long time. And Trey Lance is something. So Cooper Rush can go get paid somewhere else. And Trey Lance can sit back there, and it's Jimmy G all over again. Like to me, it's like I'm Dr. Manhattan. I'm like, it's 2017, and it's just the same circle that we're in. So like, Andrew, we start with you. Are you buying Trey Lance in Dynasty? Do you think he's worth it? Do you think it's just over?
I don't think it's over. The move to the Cowboys didn't surprise me from San Francisco's standpoint. The fact that they got a 4th round pick for him, someone in that front office did something right finally and sold their ass off. I didn't see the Cowboys coming at all, but the more I thought about it, the more it kind of started to make sense. The more I heard people talking about how this is a long-term play, kind of shot in the dark here for a guy like, and I think this is kind of Jerry Jones also saying that he believes that Mike McCarthy might be able to develop him into a quarterback that could be useful to them if they decide not to pay Dak at his next contract being up, or say Dak does get hurt again. He's showing a sign of that. So I think this is kind of a nod to Mike McCarthy. Like, here's your chance to develop like a raw athletic talent and see what you can do with him while they have the safety and no pressure since they have Dak at the front.
Yeah, and it's
I guess I didn't answer your question. I guess I am willing to buy him and hold on to him for a year to see how he looks in the Dallas system.
Yeah, I guess it's just like for me, and again, like if there's anything in football, I know a lot about X's and O's, team building, scouting, whole 9 yards. The money side, I don't care about at all. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to be good at it. I've heard numbers and sounds and jargon about Dak as like $36 million against the cap. They have to cut him at a certain point. Chuck, where are you at? Do you know the numbers? Are you better at that than I am? Or
yeah, let's just go with the numbers are good and fuck them. That's about how I approach all that shit now. I don't really get into the I can understand. We rely on people who are much more into it than I am, and you and I are. Allow us to do the X's and O's stuff, because what did we talk about last week with Tony Pollard, right? We can trust the Cowboys. We can see the Cowboys. I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying you can see the Cowboys plan from years away. No team has ever worn their intentions on their sleeve more than Dallas. So I like this. I like this for them. I mean, Trey Lance went from being like the 6th best quarterback in California to like maybe the 2nd best in Texas. So I don't know. Things keep looking bright for him.
Yeah, I'm holding on to my shares. They're still there. Like I sent out a trade to buy Kyle Pitts and JSN, and I gave up Goff, Njoku, Najee Harris. There's another piece in there. Oh, Calvin Ridley. And then I bought Trey Lance, Kyle Pitts, and JSN. I was like, I don't need a win. So here's Goff. It's like anywhere Trey Lance goes could be better. And then the Dak Prescott happened. I'm like, is it better? Like, one thing worse is if he was like behind Mahomes, Hurts, like the big guys, I don't think it was ideal. Sure. But we have our guest in. That's it for the news and nonsense. We have Tony at It's Just Fantasy. Welcome in, Tony. How you doing?
I'm good, fellas. Doing all right. Ready to get out of mock draft tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
the mock draft season is coming to an end. You hate to see it go. You know, it's been near and dear to my heart. I know it's been near and dear to your heart.
That's a fact. Yeah, being the mock guy for JWB, it's sad when that comes to an end. But in season's great, so you got to give and take.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next thing. Was like to plug where you're at. You're over there at JWB. I love you guys over there. Like done some stuff with Tyler, with Skylar. Like you're actually, I think like you're like my final JWB. Like Infinity Stone.
The gauntlet.
Oh,
you got
boy.
the gauntlet. Yeah.
What an honor! What an honor! Yeah, man. JWB, it's a good group of guys. We get together every year, and I'm glad to be part of that group, and hopefully be a good save the best for last kind of candidate here.
Yeah, final boss.
Yeah.
Like you're actually Soul Stone, so after this you get to die, bud. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Tough break.
Damn.
We'll pay some bills and then we'll get this thing rolling.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code TSSDYNASTY to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
All right, good girl. Make sure to use that code, guys, because it's about to be a full-blown DFS season. And then look who's rolling in. Look who's rolling in. It's Fantasy Jesus. He's just like, I don't give a shit about this news. I'll roll in when the real action happens. How we doing today, Justin?
Dude, he teleported in.
I'm doing about as good as Bailey Zappi is gun on the practice squad there.
So terrible.
Taking a pay cut.
It's been a rough day, but I am excited to be on the Dynasty Hour. I finally made it on.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll get rolling. A couple other guests that we have on here. We have Akash at Yeezer Fantasy. I've known Akash for like 2 years now from Twitter, and I still don't know what the hell his Twitter handle is. It's like the most difficult Twitter for someone named Akash out there.
Easy.
And
You talking about YZR?
yeah.
He's wiser.
Oh, it's Wiser. Damn it.
Oh, the glass. I can feel the glass raining down.
Yeah.
On me right
Yeah. Okay. That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Let's get rolling. Take it away, Chuck. You're the commish.
Yeah, so everybody knows, just at the end of every round, we'll do a little quick pause, we'll give a little recap, and we'll just keep things going. Quick picks, 30-second clock. We've all been drafting since frickin' April. We don't need to slow play any of this stuff. So half PPR, 1 QB. Let's get nuts. God, this feels good. Tony, how many do you think you've done?
With JWB specifically, I've done 45 mocks, and then probably like random thrown out there, probably upwards of 60 or so.
Mm-hmm. And how many have you done before last week?
Before what?
I was just assuming those were your last week numbers.
No, I wish, man. I've been so busy at work. I haven't put in the numbers I wish I did.
Mm-hmm. Next season we'll go for some record breaking Cooper Kupp, Michael Thomas style numbers.
Sure.
Is this Superflex?
Nope, just regular. Yeah, just what do we call it? Regular. Do we have a sexy name for regular yet?
Missionary.
Okay. Well, missionary is underrated, so I'm okay with that.
Oh my goodness.
4 receivers off the rip, a little McCaffrey sliding to 5.
Yep.
And Kev holding the bag with Cooper Kupp. That's Jagger, I know that makes you feel a certain way.
Gross. Like, I mean, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know.
Come on, dude.
I thought about putting this in like make a short about it, but like I'm so off Cooper Kupp, and I feel like people are gonna crucify me for being so. I can't do it. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. He's old as hell. Stafford, does he have a spine? And I mean that literally. I don't mean that he can't stand up for himself. I mean, like, does his spine and his neck function? And then, like, that team, it looks like it's tanking, but I think that they're trying. I'm not sure. I'm out. I'm out at cost. And that's why I don't understand why, especially I think this is a half PPR. AJ Brown seems like the value to me. So.
Yeah, that's
AJ Brown.
You hear stories about him having trouble with, like, has any team ever not wanted to play football more than the Rams? Like, coach is out one way out the door. Aaron Donald is dying to retire. Stafford can't connect with his teammates. Like, what is going on in LA? It's the strangest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, LA and the Cardinals are having a race to being the worst team in the league. And I think the Rams need to start thinking about a new coach because Sean McVay, his contract with the Devils officially worn off. He got his Super Bowl, but now he's lost his soul.
Did you guys see him in the
Not his soul, I
preseason?
mean his team.
We're going to pause it right here so we can do a little recap. I have a couple of questions. Like I said, the first round, we had 4 receivers. Then our first running back comes out the board with McCaffrey, then Eckler. I take AJ Brown. Andrew, you took Saquon Barkley over Beast.
Yes.
Explain the move.
So for me, I've been pretty clear on how I feel about Saquon Barkley all off season. I truly think he could be the number 2 receiver on this team. I think he's going to have so many touches in this offense that even in a half PPR, I want every bit of him I can get.
Awesome. And then Chuck takes Bijan because I don't. What do you got to explain there? That's just an easy pick. That's just like a smash.
Yeah, because I'm Chuck and he's Bijan. That one's easy.
Exactly. It's like cash money right there. And then Justin getting Kelsey. That's pretty. Like at this point, I feel like it's a value because some people are like Kelsey's
rare.
Yeah.
I almost took him over Barkley, so yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, like you said, you've done that many number of these, as you said. How often are you seeing Kelsey at 110?
Not very often. That's pretty far down there for mocks.
Sure.
I'm not usually a tight end in the first round type of guy, but when you guys are going to hand him to me, I'm not going to say no.
Got to.
Oh, God. Kev coming out with the Inglourious Bastards bat.
I know.
To go to town.
I know.
Winging it strong.
How many years ago was that though? It feels so long ago. Like even though it was just like I don't know. Like I'm a negative Nancy, Kevin. What's up, guys? What's up, Josh Bandy? How you doing? All right.
And we got Tony with Chubb. Will you walk us through that and we'll kick it back off?
Yep.
I mean, that one just seems obvious at RB5. He's due for a big year. So I just snagged him in a home league. So that was an easy choice for me.
Career year inbound.
I'm here for it.
I'll rock it back up. Yeah, I'm trying to convince myself that it doesn't matter if he even takes a small uptick in pass catching, that he's still just going to bring the rushing title home a la Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And of course, we explain the rules, and then people like, what's up with a sleeper chat? Where someone like they will not scroll up once. They're like if I don't immediately see the issue to this problem, I'm gonna at everybody and cause a problem. Like,
reading time.
Justin, tell me, you're a malicious drafter, Justin. Did you do this because you like Wilson, or did you do it because I like Wilson? Elaborate.
It's a little of both. It's a little of both. The one thing I love about mock drafts is, especially with you guys, I get to fuck with you guys, and I know you're going to do it right back. But at the same time, I get to kind of experiment for like my home league drafts and be like, oh, okay, so this is what happens when this happens, and I get to kind of just like see what the lineups are going to set as. But yeah, Jagger, it was a little bit of a snipe that I wanted to throw your way.
It's okay. It's if it was Dynasty, I'd be more mad because like that's a marriage. Like I missed out on a marriage right then, But since it's redraft, it's cool. I'll catch him next year. To be honest,
if this was Dynasty, this guy would be in my DMs going, "What the fuck and how much?"
I'd be hot. For starters, if it was Dynasty, I would have already drafted him like over AJ Brown. It wouldn't have been a question. But like, I like where I'm at. I got this yin and yang thing. I got a big play guy, and then I got a PPR guy. So like either way, I really like both of these receivers. Like to me, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is top 6. So I got a value there. I love Olave and Waddle right here as well. Ridley already going. Do you think that's high? I think that's right.
Ridley is bottle service prices right now. What happened to this ADP?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's early for him.
That's a little high.
Hutchinson.
This is
the people, you know what, man? It's like camera starts rolling, people do stream shit. That's what's happening right now. I love it.
Because I love Ridley. I love Ridley this year, but that's early for me.
Stir the pot. Stir the pot.
I'm here for chaos though.
Akash going QB, first one. I'm a little surprised by that, but he's a numbers guy, so I'm guessing that he thinks he's going to be the highest scoring person in fantasy. So I guess I don't blame him too much. So.
He's got the stack, the week 17 stack.
Yeah.
Right.
So good pause.
Doing a little recap here. So who wants to kick it off? We'll do a reverse one this time.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We got, like we talked about the quarterback picks early. I don't know how you guys feel about elite QBs. I personally have trouble pulling the trigger, especially in redraft single QB leagues. Ridley, pretty damn up there. Like we said, Jagger, you said it. Love Waddle, love Olave. Adams there is fine with me. So you already walked us through your Brown a little bit. So let's come back to Andrew with Lamb. What are you looking at?
I was here just looking at a value standpoint. He just seemed like the best guy for me to get touches in his offense. So CD Lamb to me just made sense there. I feel better about CD Lamb as my wide receiver one than Adams or Ridley in this case for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Lamb is a staple of the 1-2 turn, let alone taking him at 5. Pretty high T draft right here with as many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 running backs going in the first 14 picks. That's his anti-consensus kind of thing going on right now. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of
Alpha energy. Not me though. I'm still there.
You don't have to, you don't have to spend much time on mine. I got the RB1 overall and the RB2 overall, so that's a pretty slam dunk move. I feel pretty hot about that. And then so Tony, you got a little Diggs going on. You feeling pretty hot about Diggs this year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's like one of those guys that's like a surefire thing for the most part. And then plus, if I'm going to watch him beat my Dolphins down 2 times, I might as well have him win me fantasy matchups. So it's a kind of a lose-win situation.
Yeah, you can
like slam on the keyboard.
Pumping, right? You have the light fist pump. You're like, yeah, and you're just
pretty much like
you scored a touchdown.
And Jake
do you ever see yourself? Sorry, I just wanted to add this to Tony real quick. Do you ever say to yourself, Xavier Howard, don't tackle Diggs?
No,
I don't get him.
I will take a Dolphins win over a fantasy win any day of the week.
Good man.
Smart, very smart. So Jake brings up in the chat on Sleeper, wouldn't have skipped on the Chase Burrow stack. So would you guys have rather have a Burrow Chase stack over Chase Mahomes?
Yeah, I would have rather not have Mahomes and taken. I don't know. His team's looking pretty solid. I thought I was going to get some Gibbs, but I forgot Akash is incredibly high on him.
Gotta know who you drafted against.
He's incredibly high.
Yeah, he also saved me from drafting a running back. So like the streak stays strong, guys. Like I don't think I've drafted a running back in the first 5 rounds, even in a mock. Like even like Gibbs, I try to click the button every time, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to take the plunge. Someone else takes, and I'm like, okay, not this time. We'll get him again, and this is it for me. So I don't think I'm going to get past it. Now I got to make a decision.
I mean, you can't pass up on that JT value right now.
I can't because
It's simply too good.
Oh, you sniped me. Damn you.
I know.
Damn you,
Wow.
sir.
Stream snipe.
What a
Stream
little
sniped.
liar. What a fibber. He
Yeah.
threw this whole
Yeah.
thing together just to do that.
I know you made me feel nice and secure with him following me too when you said that. Fuck. Okay.
Hey, are your pants on fire, Jagger?
They will be if
You're
I
a
get
little
sniped
liar,
on the way
liar.
back. If I get sniped on the way back, I'll be scared. Be a little scared. Because like Lamar Jackson was going to be my next pick if like I was fibbing or fumbling for which one. So yeah, I
Get
fibbed.
off my wavelength, Jagger. This isn't going to end well.
Well, you know what? I tried to change it up, and like I was like, thank God Justin is like a full 2 picks away from me. So now I'm Justin, and it feels great.
The classic fake
Yeah, you
zero
got me
RB.
back.
You know,
Exactly. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I faked faking. I zigged and zagged.
all this prep all off season just to do this shit on live TV.
Right.
I know where Justin's going on the way back here, probably.
I have a feeling I know it too, and it's going to piss me off because I was hoping he won't.
Come on, James.
I expect chaos from you animals at this point.
Dude, you're the chaos king, and you got like you taking Josh Allen. That's I don't know. That's just great value. Like Chuck Bass value hunter. Like I want you to do like your own fucking crocodile hunter show. But
Yeah.
like, anyone like I've done like 3 or 4 mocks with Chuck now, and every time I'm like, that's great value. That's great value. You just let the board come to you, and I got to.
Oh, the
Well,
auto draft third running back 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, so I was gonna
Wow.
say, okay, that can't be on purpose. If it is, you are an alpha.
No, it was
Dude,
auto
my
drafted.
my T levels just dropped precipitously after that start. I'm caving right now.
The fucking 4 RB start on the end there. Love it.
If that guy had gotten frickin' Saquon Barkley to start out with, it could have been team holdout. Got Barkley.
Oh, that would have been great.
We'll stop.
Yeah.
We'll stop at the end of this round, and we'll just kind of talk about our picks in tandem.
We're doing pretty good at talking them through here as like the commentary. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a pro group.
Was that on purpose? Was that on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I know who you thought I was going to go with, but
I
like I
know.
said, it's a mock. I'm going to change it up.
Okay. All right. Just don't say shit. So like, there's 2 picks. No one do shit, and you like. Tony, you're going like you got big T energy. You got that hero RB or hero receiver going on right now. You got Stephon Diggs, Chubb, ETN, Kenneth Walker. That you like Kenneth Walker 3rd round still, even though we got subscribed there.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get him in the 4th, I'm fine with it. Especially if he's my he's my 3rd running back here. So like,
Reaching chaos.
I have some buffer room with running backs if he doesn't pan out like I think he will. But I think there's a lot of noise with Charbonnet, and I think Kenneth Walker will still get his this year.
Andrew,
I can subscribe to that. Especially,
That was a chaos.
Ken Walker
pick.
might be the least talked about guy I can remember all offseason amongst all positions. I haven't heard a peep about him from analysts to NFL, and I don't mean that in one way or the other. It's just surprising, for the situation.
I feel the same way. It's like, I mean, I'm sure Charbonnet will get his chances, but I'm not really sure that that's going to make Kenneth Walker that much worse.
Keenan Allen.
That's
That
a
was
funky
an
team. Eckler, Adams, Metcalf, Keenan Allen.
So that team has had I think 2 auto picks at this point now.
Metcalf is like, again, he's another guy. I have 0 share. I have 1 dynasty share that I inherited, and I've been trying to sell that guy like Cutco knives. You know, like I'm hustling them like it's Avon, and now I'm at a bowling alley, something like that.
Yeah, on my on my notes for DK, I've got just take Lockett, and for Lockett, I've got just take JSN. So I'm just keep like passing the buck down the line.
Well, it's like Lockett. I like I'll take Lockett. Like DK Metcalf is just like for a guy, him and Deebo Samuel for guys who don't like having double digit games that often, we really love them. We really love them. Like it kind of blows my mind that like if you look at it at points per game, like Akash, what are you doing, bro? Like this doesn't.
Dude,
seem
he's
like,
laying on grenades for us right now. I appreciate that.
I'm about to shit on Deebo Samuel. Someone I respect is drafting him. Akash. The thing is, now I'm scared. I'm like, what do I know? Because that dude is like a savant. You know, he's got some Rain Man energy going on. So, like, what math did you do that I didn't do?
1920. So Deebo was taken as the 22nd wide receiver in this mock. I mean, that feels appropriate.
He was 22nd points per game. So that's actually,
yeah. At a certain point, it's like the brand takes over.
Where's it gonna go to? We pausing?
Yeah, we'll do a little pause. We'll do a little recap here, especially while he's on the clock. Maybe throw him a curveball, mess him up, maybe think his shit's going haywire.
Chuck, Chuck, go ahead and recap for us.
All right. So, love the Waller pick for Shades. We just talked about Deebo for Weiser, which is what I'm going to call him now because I can't get that out of my head. Hutch with a pretty, you know what? When you look at that team as a team, Tyreek, Ridley, Higgins, Herbert, that feels pretty good. I like that. We'll see how the rest of that shakes out. Kev with the early pick on Breece Hall, but it just depends on how you feel about him. How do you guys feel about Breece Hall right now as a value?
I love him. I like him. Like to me, he's fallen. Like if I want to do, I wouldn't call it a hero, but maybe a sidekick, like a step down. Like we talk about heroes, he's like Hawkman, like he's on the squad, but he's not Superman. Like I'll take Breece Hall then, so I don't hate it at all.
Sure. Tony, what about you? You think anything one way or another about Breece?
It feels fine in the fourth. I personally just try to avoid the running backs coming back from ACL. I've just been burned in the past, so I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Someone else can have him this year. I'll see him next year.
Yeah, a lot of talent up on the board. Moose is playing a little checkered game there. McCaffrey, Olave, you feel good about. Najee, Amari, I don't feel good about. Get sucked, Moose. And then we talked about Hawks team a little bit. Fields. So is that just I've got to have an elite QB and he's got to have some rushing floor?
100%. Like that's why I think Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields are such huge values in this range because like the QB1 overall is in their range of outcomes. If you think about what they offer you for fantasy. So I used to take Hurts like at the beginning of draft season. I was taking Hurts, and then I kept looking at the builds who would wait on Justin Fields. And if you really got balls and moxie, and you got alpha energy, and you wait for Daniel Jones later, I even really like those builds. So yeah, 100%.
And then the Ayuk pick, we all know that was a Jagger snipe.
No, just because you have personal vendettas against me, that wasn't a personal pick. That was strictly because I know there's at least 3 other guys on this show right now that would reach for him. So I just decided to reach first.
Yeah, that's exactly what me, Justin, everyone. Like he was in the queue. I would have hit him at some point. So.
I knew he wasn't going to come back to me. There was too many picks there in between, so I just reached a couple rounds early.
I'm kind of mad that the secret is out because it's like now it's not a value anymore. Now he's just like kind of going where you want him to finish.
You really hate to see peer pressure taking a grip on a fully formed adult. That's brutal. That's brutal all the way across the board. But you know what happens in fantasy football. Aaron Jones still got some spice.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Jordan Love, rookie, he's a rookie quarterback at this point. But he's looking good, and Aaron Jones is one thing you'd say about Aaron Jones is he's always a guy who's gonna be out there doing running it and catching it. So why the fuck not? I'm going to get all the points I can get, and I'll go out and get somebody like Aaron Jones, who's going to be on the field, which is my one gripe with Breece Hall. I don't know how much field time he's going to see with Dalvin Cook.
Yes, Aaron Jones is so good that they almost traded for Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, come on, dude.
I almost wish they had done that so that maybe they would have shipped Jones to Indianapolis.
That would actually be pretty hot, man. I'd be in for that.
Fun.
For me, that's the only way I'd like AJ Dillon. Is like that. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, if like AJ Dillon is someone that people, especially, I get it. I'm a film bro. People have been shoving him down my throat for like 4 seasons. I'm like, get it out, guys. That's not that good. You know, it's kind of like kombucha or Vegemite, this weird shit that people consume, and they're like, it's so good, you got to try it. And then like every time I'm like,
Come on, dude.
9 points a game. That is not that great. So
Ooh, our first
AJ Dillon's problem is that he's built to break tackles, but he just does not break tackles. He's like weirdly soft. Like I was watching his stuff against freaking the preseason game against Seattle. I'm just like, you should be wrecking these dudes. He'd go down after like a 1 yard gain. I'm like, what are we doing? Open field tackling, bringing down this massive man.
ooh,
Yeah, I don't know.
ooh. Andrew, take it, Dameon Pierce. I like ask me tomorrow, and I'll have a different opinion on Dameon Pierce. It's just like it's mood. It's a mood for me. Like Chuck's got vibesonly.com. That's how I am with Dameon Pierce. Am I feeling running back positive today? I like Dameon Pierce. If I hate running backs, get him off my roster.
See, with the running backs we have left on the board right
Chuck
now,
making it
Pierce
way
was the last one in that kind of that tier for me before it drops off to another tier. So it just felt right to take him.
Ooh, T-Mac.
Pierce is like everybody just bought Pierce in the last week. I've saw him more tweets about him in the last week than I did the preceding two months, hands down.
I know it's one of those things where I like the player. It's the only thing that makes me super hesitant. See what I'm talking about, Tony. I love this. With the exception that you love backs more than I get. Like Trevor Lawrence, right then. Like now my Justin Fields it's less sexier. Does that make sense? Because like you're right there. Yeah.
I mean, Burrow 6'1", preceded by Lawrence 6'2". If that isn't like, what are we doing with quarterback? I don't know what is. That's premium stuff right there.
It's like every mock for me, I take a quarterback later and later, and it still feels too early. You know, well, for one QB anyway. For one QB.
Nice. Thought about it.
One daughter.
Yeah, that was, I don't punt on, well, punt's the wrong term. I usually don't wait until the 4th round to take my first wide receiver, but I can live with the way this is shaking up. I feel pretty decent about it.
I was between Goddard and Kirk there, so you made my decision for me easy, Chuck.
I hate to do that. I have the power to go back and change it without anybody even noticing. This is a mock. You can change picks and nobody can even tell. That's what I love about the mocks. You have ultimate power to reign supreme.
Yep. He's like,
ooh, the Dotson hype continues.
Wow. Yeah, I do love that Dotson hype.
Well, let me ask you guys, because like I was debating. I had 3 in my queue, and I liked them all. Like I had Deontay Johnson, JSN, and Dotson. Which one would you guys have picked?
Dotson.
Yeah, Dotson. Yep.
It's
the other ones?
JSN and Deontay Johnson.
Ooh, I'd probably have gone Deontay, but we're talking similar, similar tier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Kenny Pickett looks good. Like it's preseason, but he looks better than he did last year. 100%. That offense looks. But I haven't seen the Steelers' offense look this good, even in preseason, even on a Twitter camp highlight. I've not seen this offense look this good in about 3 or 4 seasons. So, like, I think every Pittsburgh player is a value right now. Like, we finally put George Pickens down far enough where it feels good.
It is. That's the guy everybody wants to is right in your Q zone. It's not totally in my Q zone, is it? Yeah, it's the Steelers are going like full Sam Bradford 2015 Eagles, where they were dropping like 50 a game in the preseason, and they were calling them like the team of destiny. It's I'm excited to see what the actual finished product is.
Well, I like seeing passes over 10 yards. You know, it's nice. It looks really good. You know, like it's been deep and done, and Najee falling down, you know, for stumbling and bumbling for 4 yards at a time. See,
At a
and
certain point, all these guys will continue to be values because even Pickens where he's going, it's like you're still looking at him being like your wide receiver 3, maybe even your second flex. I mean, you're talking about just like, okay, you know, we're still a year early.
You can tell Kev's watching this because he's like, you know what? I like JSN and
he took both. Dude, he took the swinger.
Yeah, he's like that's a good
on
ass
it.
I love it.
You know, looking at his team now, how do you guys feel about Dobbins this year, in particular, especially as an RB2?
I can't do it.
Yeah, me neither.
That knee, man, I can't do it. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I do have eyes. I just think it looks like shit. I can't do it. Guys, I love this. Is my favorite mock I've done because Javante's a guy that I've really liked all the time. And like I always get sniped, and I finally got him. It's not real. He's good in this.
I was say that just guarantees you won't get him in a draft.
Right?
George Pickens.
Yeah, this is. I think Javonte, for whatever reason, well, I know what the reason is. He's probably my least clicked on player of the entire season in redraft, mock, best ball. It's not an indictment of the player. I have not found the courage to do it. I might be a scaredy cat.
Well, it's like
Scaredy cat.
we finally did our job as analysts at pushing that. Because I'm telling everyone, like, I got to hear good news about that need before I draft them. And we got it.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready. So it's called controlling the market. We're pausing for the cause. Chuck, take it away.
Yeah, so we'll do a little reverse here. So let's have a quick quorum on Jake's team. Jake's starting wide receivers are Cortland Sutton and Brandon Cooks. What sort of emotions does that make you all feel?
Negative.
Weird.
Yeah.
For the podcast listeners, that was audible groans and lots of tongues down. So Tony, one of my favorite values in the board for me personally continues to be Michael Pittman, especially where you're getting him at 7-11. Feeling pretty strong about him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be anything like crazy just because he'll have Anthony Richardson like as a rookie. But like, I think one of the like big football accounts on Twitter just put it out today that they have 3 active wide receivers.
Yep.
He's not coming off the field, so I'll take a guy that's going to get volume. So
it was a shocking report, honestly. 3 wide receivers is the all-time pivot.
Oh,
it's an all-timer. And so Justin, you're taking, podcast favorite Zay Flowers to the moon.
Oh, 1,000%. Who else is there to catch it in Baltimore, right? Rashad Bateman? Nope. Always
Duvernay?
out with injury. Odell Beckham Jr. Duvernay? Oh, you mean the guy that wishes he was Zay Flowers? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Freiermuth is really the last guy in this tier that I'm like, I'll take a stab at him. I feel pretty similarly about all the tight ends after Andrews all the way through Freiermuth to varying degrees. So I'll take a little, if the Steelers are going to pop, I know he's going to pop too. So I'm not afraid to jump on that train. Pickens right behind him. I mean, the vibe of the offseason is George Pickens. If you were to sum this offseason up in one word.
A lot of Pickens. It's a lot of Pickens.
And this was technically my first share of him, so I was just trying to do something different.
Yeah. We all are.
Really
like I've done enough talks with you guys. We're all doing a little bit of little bit of different stuff. It's fun.
I like what LeDuc's doing there. He's getting 2 guys that are projected as a wide receiver number 2, but have the more of the talent end of the receiver core. So you look at Pickens, look at the guy. He had 4 touchdowns last year. Deontay Johnson had zippity doo-dah. He did it on almost half the amount of targets. And now you're saying Kenny Pickett's doing better as a thrower. I think that's going to be more of an indictment on him getting more targets than Deontay Johnson had more success.
I'm just saying. Shout out to Scott Simpson and his wide receiver 2 theory. Great read. Go read it. It's good information. I'm giving it a shot here.
He's got some good reads. He's got some good stuff going on. So what do you guys think about the sixth spot hero RB build? I love a hero RB build. Do you love the actual individual selections themselves?
No. Like, I think DK Metcalf was a mistake. I don't like Keenan Allen. I don't like I don't know. Like I feel like he should have, if he was gonna do that, like he should have went Ayuk. He should have went I don't know, like to me, he has very low floor plays, if that makes sense, and very low ups. Like DK Metcalf has upside. I'm sorry, but I don't see the upside with, and that's what you got to kind of look for if you're going to do the hero RB build. So.
To be fair, I do believe a couple of his picks were auto draft early on, at least.
No excuse.
This team feels like Tom Brady recruited every one of them to be on it. Like he's just like Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, all the old guys of fantasy. He's just like, come on, let's go win a team. Let's go win a championship. Yeah. So it seems like somebody got recruited to South Beach. I don't know if you're in South Beach, FF Hawk, but I like your strategy there, buddy. You're really in the win now situation.
This is LeBron building the 2022 Lakers right now. He's like, you about to retire? Come on to LA.
It's not for you, Russell Westbrook. We don't need you again.
Yeah.
So we'll rip through a few of these other teams. So Moose, not a tight end or quarterback taken. Do you feel like the rest of his team is capable of supporting, whatever tier of quarterback and tight end he's going to end up having?
Yeah, because there's some good quarterbacks.
Like we all got quarterbacks, and to me, he needs to have I don't know, like he can get Anthony Richardson and have high upside right there. He can have Daniel Jones, and like Daniel Jones has QB5 overall in his range of outcomes. So if you want to talk about fading, that's a way to do it. Like I actually really like that team, like Christian McCaffrey, Olave, Harris. Know what you think about him. I'm lukewarm on Najee Harris. Fine. I know a lot of people hate him. So
yeah, the players that I'm skeptical of, he has in very reserve roles, not necessarily front and center, carrying the weight of their core. So that's always nice. Kev, like you said, we're almost like he obviously gets the benefit of the doubt, but that's straight stream sniping. However, he took he took probably the most maligned player of the show, which is Trevelyan Burks. I like Burks, so it's nice to see somebody else, carry the flag with me. It's nice to see the cross picked up. You guys remember that Burks exists, right?
Yeah.
I can't forget about him for how much everyone else talks about him, but
I guess somebody has to pick him.
God bless you, Ryan Tannehill exists.
Exactly.
Listeners can hear the eye roll.
Ooh, I forgot Tua is there, so he's got the Waddle stack. I actually really like Kev's team because it's like I show on Cup, but the fact that he got Waddle, that's like a yin and yang thing, in my opinion. Like he almost like insulated his Cup pick a little bit. So Kev, nice squad. Again, where he got the value just seems like really good. Not really reaching on some bullshit.
Well, I'm a little bummed Michael Thomas just got taken. That was hopefully my next pick. Little bummed.
Well, let's catch the teams on the end. We'll wrap this up. Are you okay with Rachaad White and Pacheco being basically the RB core for Jameson?
I don't. Let me look at his team. Sorry. He
had a pretty hot start. I think he got some great value. Pretty good.
I hate Pacheco. I don't know why. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Like I like it. It's like I would have just went other. Like the build is fine. I think over Pacheco, I like Charbonnet better. I probably would have went. I would have went Javonte Williams ahead of that too. So I thought that was a little odd. So I don't know. It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. So
I've seen worse. Zero RB cores. You're looking at guys who have, got potential. At least, what do you want out of a zero RB, right? You want guys that if they're on the field, they're going to get what 15 to 20 touches, whether it's split between carries and targets. So, you can live with that with those two.
Pacheco can give you 10 points a game. Like when you want a ZRB, you want a running back that can give you 10 points a game. If they get a touchdown or a couple of catches, that's going to give you your upside, and that's your gravy at the end. So I like the build. I really like it.
Are you guys in on Gabe Davis for this year for his value?
I guess his value is fine. I'm just at that range. I'm kind of done at receiver. So that's where I'm getting my running back. So like if other people get it, I'm not going to complain because I think we finally got Gabe Davis value realistic because there is that upside now. But again, that's just strategy. So for me, why I never have him.
Yeah, it does start to get towards like that end of that kind of not gross zone, but the range of outcomes for all these guys is wild. Yeah, very much so. So we'll work backwards here. 50 Shades, Cam Akers 7-1. I gotta say, for what you feel about Cam Akers, that is very late for where I've seen him going in most of these boards. So you're looking for you're punting on running back a little bit. Kamara, Connor, Akers. I'm not saying that's a rock solid RB core, but when you also have Justin Jefferson, Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, and Darren Waller, I like that a whole lot. Weiser, Madison, he called it himself gross. If the guy who picks you says it's gross, then we'll go ahead and say that it's gross. Let's move through some of our other ones here. That brings us to Jagger. So Addison, Bigsby. I mean, those are your boys, right?
Addison, not so much. Flowers is, but like right here at this range, Addison, Burks. I wish I would have went Elijah Moore, to be honest. Like I wish I went Elijah Moore, but I don't know about the Browns. I just like the player. But again, I think he's in the perfect situation with the Vikings. So like whatever theory is about wide receiver 2, I think Addison fits that role. And then you've heard me talk about Bigsby. I like the role that he is in. So,
Andrew, Gibson and B-Rob.
I'm not gonna lie, this is an area of the draft that don't really like anybody. So this is a situation where I do think the Washington offense is a little underrated, and I do like the way it seems like they're going to use Gibson. So this is just a shot at some flex points here between the two of them, goal lines and catches.
Goal, yeah. You're throwing a dart. You're throwing a dart, knowing that there's odds are that there's going to be plenty of weeks where either one of those guys are going to finish top 20, hopefully worse. I took Montgomery, who I've been vocal about, love him a lot. And then I took Juju, just kind of realizing like this team at a certain point is just not going to have a lot of options. I'm a little sour. I'm a little more sour on the Patriots than most people because I don't know. I'm just not. I think the sum of their parts is what's the opposite of greater than the sum of their parts? Worse than, I guess.
I get what you're saying. Like together, it's bad. It's like mixed, like mixing nutmeg and like I don't know.
And so that it is what it is. Aaron Rodgers as one over Justin via Hard Knocks obviously is what has happened here, and Justin's about to confirm that. Justin,
cheapest stack in the business, baby. Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, cheapest stack out there. And then,
very premium.
I got James Cook as well. So I got 3 running backs that are pass catching running backs, and they're all starters on their team so far. So
very nice. A lot of work built in there. Tony. So we had a couple people in the chat here say Chris said that Tony's out here killing it, and that Kincaid really ties your team together. So walk us through your faith in not just Kincaid, but Hollywood Brown.
Well, as we all know, the Cardinals are probably going to be cheeks this year, so I imagine there'll be a lot of passing to try and compete in games. So that's kind of where my head goes with the value there. And hopefully that video that surfaced of him recently was just a bad rep, and he doesn't actually look that bad on the field. Kincaid, I'll be honest, this is probably like the 3rd mock I've actually taken him in, but like it's a high volume passing offense. So I'll take a tight end in that offense, and then one that's not a high volume passing offense.
There you go. And I have to say, Kincaid's probably the guy I've done the biggest 180 on this offseason. As far as I went going in, like, it doesn't matter how good he looks. I know how this always goes. And the more I look at what this Bills offense will have to do to succeed, almost like I was talking about with the Patriots, right? Like at a certain point, there's only so much, there's only certain hands you have to play. So I'm starting to feel pretty good about him. All right, let's keep it rocking. We'll only, it's, what is it? Round 10. We'll pause a couple more times maybe just to do some reviews, but these are where we just start to show our true colors in these little later ones. All right, so just looking at Jake's team again, we already had made the faces we made about the Sutton Cooks picks. He backs that up with Sky Moore and Beckham. Does that make you all feel any better about what he's got going on, or is that just more of the same?
More of the same. You got Odell Beckham is probably the third target on the Ravens, even though like I'm all in on the Ravens as far as like their offense taking a step forward. Sky Moore, we're doing this again? Like, what is it? Like, I don't know, man. Like, what does he offer you for? Like, could it be upside? For sure. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, again, I've said this a lot. When you talk about upside by position, wide receiver overall offers you a lot more upside than most. So to really put your these guys with such low floors, I don't know. It's bold, to say the least.
If you're gonna take a shot on that offense, I'd rather take a shot at this point with Rashee Rice than Sky Moore.
Same,
because it's just much more of an unknown that you can get him a few rounds later, and who knows, he could be equal, if not better than Moore.
Yeah,
especially with how Tony is just we know how they want to use Tony. It just comes down to whether they can because of his damn ability to stay on the field. So. I don't know. There's a few guys in that offense outside of Kelsey and Mahomes that I'm interested in.
Can you go back?
Yeah, who'd you want?
I don't know. I wasn't.
Well, that's not a good enough excuse. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Okay. You got to take yourself off of. You got to take yourself off auto.
Okay, I'm gonna take Damian Harris because I'm panicking.
Gotcha.
I was so busy like on Jake's team that I forgot I have my own team to take.
Shout out Jake. Yeah, this is like these two rounds right here are specifically why I think I know we always talk about going into drafts and being fluid with the board and what have you, but it's really hard for me to not hammer wide receiver early when you get to these rounds and you look at what you're asking of these players. What you're asking them to be for your team.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And I'm looking at my wide receiver core right now, and I do like it, but I'm worried about the depth at this point, what it's going to look like here in the next couple of rounds. So I tried something new. We'll see how I feel come the end, though.
Yeah. Lazard's a funky one because, it's like, are you really going to be surprised if Lazard has like 900 yards and 9 touchdowns?
I won't be surprised at all because Lazard seems like that type of player that on the year that he was completely hyped up and obviously it didn't work out to the level of hype he got. That didn't surprise me because I was down on him then, but it wouldn't surprise me if he goes off on a year where no one's talking about him.
I'm going to walk back 900 a little bit after looking at his career. I'll say 800 yards. That makes me feel a little bit
900 seemed like a lot, honestly.
But to get that in the 10th round is, anybody that you can even play with any shred of consistency after, I'll say the 10th round, for a wide receiver, very rare.
Yeah.
I'm about to pull some shit that's gonna blow your guys' mind, so just wait.
You cooking?
I'm cooking.
Don't worry. Guys, he's just fake blowing our mind again.
No.
Here comes some Deuce Vaughn shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
I will.
Let me scroll this.
I want to circle back to
Twitch.
I knew you
Oh.
wanted him. I was gonna do it where I put Penny, but I was like, I might as well get some safety. I was thinking about that too, Jagger.
That's hilarious because that was my cue. That was my god.
Okay, so three of us had him in our queue, so it makes sense.
We're all on the same page.
I'll float it back to the second pick of the last round. So Tony, with Algier, do you feel like there's standalone value with him as maybe like a fill-in player if something happens to your team, or are you purely hoping for a cuff?
I do think there's standalone value, and it's a lot due to the fact that the Falcons had the most rushing attempts last season. So, like, is it week-to-week value? No. I think it might be a lot more matchup dependent. I don't know, obviously right now, what weeks are the best, but I think as the season goes on, you're going to see like Algier had a week here where he had 13 points, like just off of a couple catches, or maybe he snuck in a touchdown in the goal line or something like that. And considering I hadn't taken a running back in 5 rounds, I felt like I needed to get someone that has a chance to get more opportunities than another guy.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of got to do, right? You have to, like, you're baking in a baseline level of production on top of what he could be if, the path ends up forging a certain direction.
Yeah.
I love your yin yang QB situation, Justin. That's really good. You're good at this. You should do it professionally.
I'll take you up on that offer. Why don't we start a podcast together?
Jagger, I will say you read my mind and going with the second tight end at this point with where the value is on the board at the moment.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, especially in redraft, like I'm just trying to find value, even if it's like I don't care about depth anymore. Because like a lot of these players I'm gonna trade. Let's say like if Anthony Richardson is like really good, Justin can probably yeet Rodgers or vice versa at some point this season and fill in some depth somewhere else.
Well, it's a great point to bring up in redraft because you're right. When it comes to filling up your bench, I hit a point where I do start thinking about guys who I think are going to get off to hot starts that I can turn around into other assets. So it's a fantastic point to bring up. I totally agree.
First defense off the board, that makes you feel what kind of way?
Don't care. I don't.
It's like the first kicker that comes off the board. It starts a chain reaction. Then you're like, oh shit, do I have to start looking at this? If it doesn't, then who the fuck cares?
I think we're all seasoned enough to not let it start a chain reaction.
Yeah, it's like I'm not.
I honestly forgot we were including a defense in this mock until the Cowboys just came off the board. So
just because it's so close, I usually don't, but just because we're all here and it's so close to the season and we have defenses in our real leagues.
Yep. Hey, I got my first defensive question today, so I mean, people are starting to think about it. So you kind of nailed it. This time of year, people start to really focus in.
Tony, this will be a good one.
Like.
Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
No, please. Sorry.
So this would be a good one for you because you aren't here. It is shit. I forgot I was going to say. Go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to say, taking a defense early is really funky because, like, obviously the Cowboys, by many analysts, and not just analysts in fantasy, but analysts in the NFL, believe the Cowboys have the best defense in the league, if not bottom, or not absolute worst, top 3. But then it's like, okay, but then defense is a very matchup dependent thing, or at least it can be. And they start off with the Giants, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Patriots, and the 49ers. I mean, do you guys look at that as an opportunity, or do you look at it as like, this is a set and forget defense? I don't care who they're playing.
Oh, come on, dude.
I think they're in too good of a division to play that game. Like they got to play the Eagles twice. They got to play the Giants twice. To me, like I'm not willing to bet on that. So, and like again, like defense don't matter. And I remember my point I was going to make now, Tony, is that like doing like real SEO work for like fantasy, and you realize the top search queries, it makes me feel useless at some of the information I give folks. One of the top 5 search queries for fantasy football is who is the best kicker. Like, what do we do? What are we doing as analysts if people are still asking who is the kicker?
I don't know, man. Maybe someone wants that week-to-week advantage or something. I mean, we know it's Justin Tucker, so
it's Justin Tucker, and then get one on a good offense. That is the advice.
Yeah.
If not, just pick a different one each week.
Yeah.
every single week. I can't. The ADPs for kickers are hilarious. Like McPherson is the second. If we had kickers in here, McPherson is the second ranked kicker. He was the kicker 17 last year, and he played every game. Like I don't understand the methodology.
There isn't one.
It's funky.
Dave Kluge had the best tweet about it. He was just like, he's like, instead of having kickers every Tuesday, I get up and I roll dice 12 times for everyone in my league. That's how predictive kickers are. It's like he says, he said it's a little bit more predictive than kickers. It's just like
only
I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah.
We have a league, a bunch of JWB people and other Twitter analysts and stuff that it's a double kicker league. And like we'll post our teams and it's like a co-owner league. And we'll post our teams and everyone's like, why is there 2 kickers? It's like, because it's fun. Leave us alone.
Honestly, if you're gonna do one, you might as well do 2. Like there ain't nothing
why not?
for that at all.
Can you imagine being the week where you get like the 2 kickers that just score 20 points for no reason? You have 40 points from your kickers.
That'd be hilarious.
Like in my Dynasty league, I put kickers in there to be a dick. And like Cade York got cut. And I'm like, whose fucking idea was this? And I'm like, it's
Cade York asking for it. All right, so we'll do one more pause, and instead of talking really about every pick, I'll just ask you guys as we go through your team here, maybe your favorite values of your last recent picks. So Tony, you took Hyatt, Mostert, and how are you feeling about either one of those guys in particular?
I like Mostert in 12th because we might see A-Chain take over the backfield. Right now, I think Mostert's a starter, so. On an offense that scores like Miami when it's clicking on all cylinders, I feel like that's a good 12th round pick.
Mostert feels like the Lockett of running backs to me, to where he does just kind of show up and get the job done with what's asked of him. With the news,
that's a high compliment for a guy.
Well, as soon as he gets hit hard, ankle injury or shoulder or something, like Lockett, he dives in the open field.
It's a sneaky comp.
When he plays, it's 120 and a touchdown. Like you just know.
Yeah.
For sure. Book it. Book it. Guy gets it done. And I love teams that didn't really change, although I do like A-Kane. So Justin, Myers, and Schultz. Actually, even if you want to throw Anthony Richardson in there, you want to hit on one of those?
Yeah, I'll hit on them all real quick. Richardson needed a very solid backup because Aaron Rodgers, who knows? He could be really good. He could be really bad. He could be last year's Aaron Rodgers. And I think that Richardson has a really high ceiling. I think we all think highly of him. Jacoby Myers, at this point, I'm just getting PPR guys. So I'm just getting a guy who's going to be getting me a ton of catches. And Jacoby Myers does that. He gets 8 catches, 30 yards, and maybe he'll sprinkle in a touchdown there. And then Dalton Schultz. Other than Tank Dell and maybe Robert Woods, the ghost of Robert Woods, the ghost of Bobby Trees, that's your Houston offense right there. And they have a pretty good quarterback. So I think that Dalton Schultz will get peppered this year.
Very nice. I'll Rick through mine. Nico Collins, everything you said about Dalton Schultz, only better for Nico Collins. So I feel pretty good about that. Ezekiel Elliott, there's no way Zeke doesn't have double-digit touchdowns this year. And I'm not saying he deserves it. There ain't just no way, the way that this team is shaken up, that's not how this is going to backdoor. And then any podcast I've listened to of anybody who has actually physically been to Vikings camp has said that Chandler is the superstar of the camp. So I'm feeling really good about him to take over. I got rid of McBride, so I feel really good about him, and his ADP is still pretty damn low. Andrew?
So my favorite value right now is actually Chig in round 11 at the second tight end because I can see a path to where he is actually planted in my flex spot for a good amount of the weeks this year. With that offense and with Tannehill's arm conditioning, I think he stands the best chance at getting the most targets on that offense. So give me Chig in the 11th round as a flex spot.
Very nice.
That's
Jagger,
just my favorite value.
Yeah, I'm with mine quick. I'll just talk about one player, and I really like Dave. Kind of already talked about this with Justin's team. I got the same thing rolling. I have Fields and Daniel Jones, and I think both of those finish top 5 overall for QB. So like right now, I'm in my back pocket, and every team that faded quarterback, I am looking at their rosters for the next 4 weeks because I want to try to make a trade with them. Let's say Tua really is one hit away from death. Let's say that like Kirk Cousins isn't that good or something like that. Then they're the guy that I want to trade with. So
quick question here.
I think I
talk about my boy Tua. Come on.
I'll just say before my turn runs out. Quick question, because on the computer it's only showing 15 rounds. On my phone it's showing 16. How many rounds is this, Mock?
16.
It is 16. Okay.
Yeah.
Just gotta scroll up one more.
That's what it was. I tried scrolling up one more. It's only showing 15 on the computer. That's why I was confused.
I'm sorry.
That's why I just want to make sure.
You tell me you report your pick, and I'll throw it in old school commish style. I did want to piggyback on what Jagger said, because I think that's such a fantasy psychology game that is very real. The early season QB trade, people panic, and they panic quickly, and they haven't quite evaluated what maybe everybody on their team is capable of, or they've made a rash decision.
Come on.
So I'm all in on that strategy. I think that works like a charm.
Yep. That's why I took Kyler Murray too just now. It's like if some like right now, like everything on the board is a defense or ugly. I want people that are good. So like even if like, do I have 3 QBs in a 1 QB league? Yes, I do. So we'll figure it out. And
Kyler's gonna play.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, like most people play with an IR spot, and guess who's going to go on there?
Sure.
That's actually a really crafty move to get an extra player right there.
Yep.
I always like that, getting that late round guy who's is going to be injured or suspended if your IR allows suspensions.
Yeah, and I'm about to do what's called a pro gamer move. So,
no scope. I'm trying to think about what that could possibly be.
I do this a lot. In almost every redraft league, I do it, and then and mainly my home league, they're like, "You're so fucking dumb," and that I don't want to. Actually, I'm next up. I'm not going to draft the defense at all. I'm not going to draft the defense.
Illegal.
Huh?
It's an illegal.
Yeah.
No.
The judges are knocking for points on that one. I think we get it.
Okay, I'll draft a defense. Okay. But normally I would
Peer pressure.
I would not draft.
No, that's like Bo Jackson when he was running like the decathlon. He would never run the mile, but he would get a 10 in every other event so that he would still beat everybody. He would still clear everybody else, and he would just sit on the bleachers and watch everybody else run the mile. Like that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And most of the time, what I do here is I'll just pick my defense up later. Like I'll just pick them up later and worry about that. But like right now, especially depending on where you draft, like if you're one of the early drafters, I want anyone who I think has high upside over a defense. Like how much upside at the grand scheme of things is a defense going to get you? Someone's bound to have a 45-point game, because they're playing against Tim Tebow, who just got drafted.
We just got crop dusted in the 15.
Oh wow, Moose is that is the biggest fucking mover. He picked Tim Tebow over a defense. Like that is gold.
Dude,
I mean, to be fair, he warned us and said that was his parting gift, like every other draft he does.
Say it was coming.
Oh, is that his thing?
Yeah, he's put it in the chat.
Okay.
He must be a Florida
All right,
fan.
let's see your pro gamer move. Yeah, he just watched Untold, the Swamp Kings or whatever.
Dude, that documentary sucked. That was straight up like Urban Meyer was like, I'm not that bad of a guy, even though what you just showed me kind of showed me being a
trash.
Yeah, like he's an awful coach, and they still managed to make him look less bad, dude. I was mad for 4 episodes, and I'm like, where's the cocaine? Where's the gang shit? Where's
I think it was a good watch, but it wasn't like informative at all about the Gators, and that it was like great. Their coach sucked, and practice was miserable.
Yeah, I'm 31. I was there. I did all the stuff that I knew that. I wanted to know like which one of the Pouncey brothers stashed the drugs and which one stashed the guns.
There's the 16th.
Oh, there's the 16th round. Just wouldn't let me scroll to it. Cool. Okay.
You were right. It was like that team was like one of the most reported on teams and programs in like college football history. Like we knew all that already. What is this document? What is this documentary?
Yeah, Urban Meyer is a great recruiter and
Money grab.
and a terrible person. Well, what it is like I think that teams are literally starting to pay for good PR. So they're like, what if we don't do?
Yeah.
What if we don't do Hard Knocks and then we do some baby back bullshit with Netflix and like make Johnny Manziel look like a decent? Well, he had mental health problems, so that's a whole different thing. But like, at least for the most part, like the whole Urban Meyer thing, like that dude sucks.
Yeah.
He's like not like a good guy or a good coach for that matter. So
I pretty much knew that when
nice-
he hit
nice
the
pick.
domestic abuse
Nice
at
pick.
Ohio State. I was like, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. So
yeah, exactly. This guy's like awful. So, all right. Now that I know there's another round, I gotta
All right,
pick somebody.
I'm gonna set the stage here, all right, for this last pick.
Was your ooh
Eight-
ooh said it.
ADP 999, overall 1731. He will be a wide receiver top 40 this year. He's gonna have a realistic argument to be top receiving option on this team. Kendrick
TikTok.
Bourne for the New England Patriots.
God.
Top 40. What is this? The Billboard hits? What
No, just tell me Juju's not washed. Tell me Devontae Parker's not a one-hit wonder. Tell me they're not going to have to keep their only two pass-catching tight ends in to block because their offensive line sucks. Kendrick Bourne is their most explosive option out of the wide receiver role.
Did someone draft Michael Wilson already? Oh,
I don't know how you could say anything negative about all those guys. Like there's one positive thing you could say about Kendrick Bourne.
there we go. He's a
There's
body.
plenty.
He's a body.
He's on the roster.
Keyshawn Boots.
He is a
Got his
great
helmet.
There's
run
plenty to say
blocking
about
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Just
And if
just clip it.
pancakes were a stat, he would be number one. He'd be 101 in wide receiver.
Just clip it. I just clip it.
I will, dog. I will.
So we gotta have some consequences for that one. You're going hard in the paint on that one.
I am. I'm taking a stance.
I love that Tebow wasn't even his last pick.
I think so. I think he
Makes
thought
it
it
so
was
much
because
better.
of the same thing on the computer.
Oh, damn! Kev rounded
I
it
broke
out.
my rule.
Was that defense auto pick?
Kev
for him
rounded
too?
that out. It rounded out real nice. Gainwell, Pickett, Saints D, and then Ferguson. Man, for somebody's got to come out of that Dallas tight end room.
That's
Ooh,
also. a fair
I like
point.
the Tucker pick.
Yeah, yep. Sean Tucker is a good one.
We did it.
We did it.
We did
So
do
much
it. I
less
guess
hectic
if we
than our last mock draft.
I guess if we just want to bang out, you know what? Let's do some personal inner honesty and we'll make this quick. Why don't we all just say what we think the strengths and the weaknesses of our teams are? And we'll start with our guest, Tony.
I would say my strength is probably gonna end up being the wide receiver room because I think I've got some nice depth there down to the wide receiver 4. Running backs could be a little shaky, especially if like the Tank Bigsby stuff does pan out and he takes a little bit more away from ETN. Like I think Lawrence is due for a big year. I think he's going to take another step in his talent level development. And they got all those new weapons, not new weapons, but Bigsby and Ridley on top of Ingram and Kirk and ETN. Tight ends might stink because obviously there's 2 rookies and those usually don't pan out, but I like the offenses they're in, and hopefully the coaches get creative. But overall, I like it. I think I'd compete on a week-to-week basis, maybe sneak in playoffs.
Yep.
Sneaking in the playoffs. Well, I like your team a lot. I think you're not giving your running back core enough. I think that there's a lot of pop and sizzle going on there. But yeah, I think it's a very good team. Justin, how about you?
I hate my running backs because they're all kind of just start throws, except for maybe Aaron Jones. You can't go wrong with Travis Kelce. Tight ends, Dalton Schultz. Wide receivers are really balanced, but Garrett Wilson's the only one that's really popping out there as like a top 5 type of guy. And then quarterbacks, how can you go wrong with you got two ARs, Aaron Rodgers and AR1 Anthony Richardson. Yeah. And then low key, Jacksonville, good defense. Why? Because they play 6 games in the AFC South.
Yes.
That's pretty fucking badass right there. Everybody
And they get
sucks
4 games.
for them.
They get 4 games against the NFC South as well, just to piggyback on that.
Oh yeah, that Bucks game is gonna be it's gonna be a good one for sure.
Barn burner, dude. 50-yard
Wait
line,
for it.
front row seats, like $8. It's gonna be sweet.
Are they gonna be giving those tickets away? Just handing them out at bars?
It's for sex trafficking. So basically, let's see here. So my team, I feel really good about my team. This is my ideal draft from a 2 RB start. Feel strongly about that. And I like the way that I contributed all the way down. If I was going to say there's a weakness of my team, I could see it sucking ass pretty badly and maybe finishing as like a 10 seed, just because there is still a lot of uncertainty and you're asking for a lot of breakout from some of these guys, not necessarily any mainstays of proven production outside of Lockett. So there's definitely a lot of risk baked into mine. That's how I like to play the game. So I'm okay with that. So we'll move on to Andrew.
Yeah, so I'd say not necessarily a positional group for me, but the depth of my team is where I don't like how this turned out. I mentioned earlier how I like to fill my bench up with guys that I can trade at some point, and unfortunately, the way this shook out, I ended up with guys who are kind of the opposite of that. If they're gonna pop, they're gonna pop later in the season. So I don't think I'm gonna have necessarily the depth and bench for the trading that I like to do.
That can be crippling. That can be, but if you were in a league with us, that itch would always be there. I assure you. Jagger, you want to bring us home?
Yeah. Positionally, the strength of my team is definitely quarterback. Like I said, I'm playing the trade game, hopefully. But overall, like I like the top 6. Like my core are all guys with week to week high upside. My weakness is like receiver depth, because again, if I go like running back early, then kind of fade in those kind of early rounds, I have to go running back early, so I miss out on a lot of the guys that like Tony picked up and you picked up towards the end. So it's like a give or take. So like basically my top 4 or 3 or 4 wide receivers need to hit.
Sure. That's the game, right? So just to throw a little bone to the other guys who participate in this draft, I'll ask each of you to name your favorite team of the other, let's say the other 4 at the front, spots 1 through 4. So we'll start with Jagger. Do you have a favorite team there?
Definitely Kev's team. After shitting on that Kev team, that team's nice. Like I would take that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Justin?
Excuse me. Recognize your game.
I was unfamiliar. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go with Weiser's fantasy team. Really like the build up front. You got Chase, you got Devo, you got Christian Watson. Judy's going to be something when he comes back. Madison, Charbonnet, big question marks, but could provide for their offenses right away. And then how do you beat Patrick Mahomes? I guess maybe Josh Allen, but that's just about it.
Sure. Nice. I like hearing that. Andrew?
I think I have to piggyback here and go. I think that it's a K Tompkins. Yeah, I so same thing. I'm not high on Cup either, but the way the rest of this build shook out for him, I like the way the depth fell in. I'm not super high on Tua at quarterback, but honestly, with the other positions, just about all the guys that I do like. So compared to the other teams, I'd go him over the other 3.
Nice. I'll go, and then I'll let Tony, as the guest of honor, absolutely wrap this bad boy up. So I'm actually going to say Hutch's team. I'm higher on White than most people are, as you can tell by the 4 jerseys hanging behind me. And I like Pacheco, like you said, as somebody that's going to, like Jagger said earlier, get you those 10 points a game. But then across the board, all the picks he made after the 6th round or so, are guys with a lot of potential on offenses that I think are hopefully going to take a leap this year. Cleveland, Baltimore. We know how good San Francisco is always going to be. Mims, Brown, hopefully taking over for Mixon. God bless us if he has a heart and soul. I like that through and through. So Tony, what do you got?
I'm with you and Hutches. I kind of like the triple wide receiver start as opposed to my 3 running back start in 4 rounds, kind of the yin and yang, like we said on this pod tonight. And plus you got Herbert quarterback. I mean, there's just a lot of high ceilings. And I think with like Rashad and Isaiah, they're kind of being slept on for the most part. Like obviously not going to be, producing great seasons on paper, but for fantasy points wise, probably be all right. So I like the build.
Awesome. Well, there we go. It's hard to say that there's a winner of this mock. I think the winner is the audience because that was a lot of fun. It
was a lot of fun. And that'll do it, folks. We'll be back next week. As always, I'm Jagger. You can call me that by my first name. On Twitter, you could call me Fantasy Bullshit. And then with me, as always, is Fantasy Jesus at SimTexMax93. You can also call him Justin Herrera. And then Mr. Sophistication, real Mr. Mallard on Twitter. He's just LeDuc to us, and you could see him on the Divots and Pivots podcast. And then thank you, Chuck, for putting this thing together. He was a mock king today, and he brought a mock team, a mock king with us, with Tony. Catch him over at JWB. These are all great guys. I love them. And of course, Chuck's podcast. This guy sucks. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you're on Twitter, do all the social stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Beautiful.